We're here in Crete, exploring the White Mountains again.
We've based ourselves in the beautiful village of Aradina.
We hope you enjoy the film.
Today we're on the eastern side of the White Mountains and we're going to try and walk up Castro. It's the one there, and you can see we're hoping to go up this ridge on this side. The ridge is free of snow, and Castro is 2,219 metres high.
Well, it's taken us an hour and 20 minutes from Aradina, and we're at the start of the walk.
Yeah, eastern end of the White Mountains, and we're going to walk up the E4 to start with. We've parked here, there, and we're going to go up towards there and then turn off and hopefully get to the summit of Castro. It's quite a climb and it's quite steep.
We are then.
Someone about here. Here. If we go up this one, 2170, then we'll have to go back, come round, go back down that other ridge. So we're going to turn off this E4 now and head up there to the top. This isn't Castro, we don't think, but we've got to sort of get on the top and then walk over, and we'll see Castro, which is the highest of this little group. Hope it's not quite as far as it looks.
What's it like underfoot?
Alright, you have to just go slowly. Well, you can't do anything else, can you? One to go up. It's quite a climb. It's probably at least 500 feet.
Last push. We made it. The summit of Mavri. Or was it Mavri or Castro?
Castro!
Oh, retake. We've made it! Finally! The summit of Castro!
Full of snow, but there's something sticking out of the snow, so I've dug it out, and it's a visitor's book.
Oh, open it up, let's see what's in it. Oh!
There's actually a pen to write with.
Let's sign it. 3/4 of an hour to the top of Castro.
October. English people. From Marple, check. Somebody, Jimmy Schofield, first time. Ian Morrissey, 6th time. Perfect day, clear sky. All in, and all the rest. Somebody else. Then, so there's not been anybody up here since last year. 24th of the 11th was the last date. Let's go see if we can see Packness. the top of Castro, and we had sandwiches on the top and a little snooze, and we looked over towards Pacnes and the whole of the White Mountains. It's a very, very good viewpoint. And then you can look east to the highest mountain in Crete, Siluritis. But I read that there are 60 peaks over 2,000 metres here in the White Mountains. So we've got plenty more to go at next time. When we walked up Castro, and on the lower slopes we were walking, we found a coin. It was actually embedded into a wide track, and it was one of the paths running low through a low valley, linking two valleys in the White Mountains, so probably a very ancient route. We came across, well, I spotted embedded in the mud a coin. It's extremely thin, and when you look at it closely, it's got Arabic writing on it, which we think might be very, very old. There's patterning and Arabic writing, very clear on one side and less so on the other, but still it's a different pattern on that side. So we're going to give it to our friends here, who are going to hand it on to one of the archaeologists and find out whether it is actually an old coin or a tag. We don't know what it is, and see whether it's of interest historically.
The archaeologist's verdict was that it was an 1800s Turkish coin, quite common and not of great archaeological value, unfortunately. Because it was pierced, it probably meant that it was used as a decoration or a lucky charm. We're going caving to Dracalaci, and we're starting in the Aradina Gorge and walking up there and taking different valleys until we find it.
We're walking in the upper reaches of the Aradina Gorge. We've picked up the camera and it has shown that we've had some shots on it overnight, so we'll have a look later. And now we're going to walk up a side chute, which is, there are waymarks along it. We think it's heading in the direction of Dracalaci Cave. So this is our exploration for today.
How far up the gorge are we now?
I think we're somewhere around here. About here. Somewhere like that.
Where's Dracalaci?
There. Purposely cut for the sword. Well, we've made it to the cave. We're at Dracalaci Cave, and we've walked from where we parked the car halfway up the Aradina Gorge all the way up to the top of the gorge. It branches at the top, but there's cairns marking one of the stronger branches, which takes you steeply up towards the cave. And we're just having something to eat now. We're going to have a look in the cave and see how much water's in there.
Whereabouts is the cave then?
The cave's up this rock face here behind. The cairn there on the left. Go up there, and it's only just up there, about 30 metres up or something. Just to say, we've been walking for 2.5 hours. And we've only covered about 2.5 miles, so it's very slow going in the gorge. It's all boulders and stones and moving across the gorge from one side to the other, so you can't go any faster than that. You're looking at about 1 mile an hour.
Here we are again at the entrance of Dracalaci, and it was about 10 months ago since we were last here, so we're going down there into the abyss.
Do you think there'll be more water in it than last time, or less?
Who knows? It's been a very dry winter on Crete, according to the locals, so we'll just see how it goes.
This was full of water last year, but there's none in it now, so it's just like a dried up underground river.
Yeah, this is as far as we got last year.
Didn't get this far even. Somebody say it was 700 metres.
Yeah. Sadly, we couldn't go any further, as the water would have been coming over our boots. We would have had to wade through. What did you think of that?
A bit frightening really, I kept thinking earthquake, rock falls and a sudden deluge of water on the top.
Probably got in about 400 metres this time.
And you're supposed to be able to go about 700.
Yeah.
Not for me, caving. So we're going to walk back from here on the path that leads to where there are some wells, water wells, and then follow the path back down towards Aradina, and hopefully turn off left on the side path that will take us along the edge of the Aradina Gorge, on the western edge of the gorge, until we come to where the crossing path is up and down, where we started. So we've walked out from Dracolaci to where there are 3 wells on a flat raised plateau, and we're going to turn back now towards Aradina, and it's one of the fingers at the top of the Aradina Gorge that we're walking down. It's one of the wider ones to start with. Just see a white mark on that pine tree over there, which I hope is the footpath. We've come in from here, so Dracolaci is that way, and we're going out this way. We've set off from the 3 wells and we've picked up the green and white markers of the footpath that leads along the western side, the top of the gorge, and then it drops into the gorge down an old zigzag path, back up again, and it's just a short walk then back to the car and the road, following the green and white dashes all the way. So I think it'll be another 2 hours yet though before we're back. These are what we're following, these green and white markers, and we're still in a sort of shallow gorge here, but the path is so much better than on the way up. We've reached the Aradina Gorge edge, and we're still following the green and white marks, probably an hour and a half after we set off. We can't be far off where it goes down on a zigzag path now, and then back up on the other side. It's down now, we've reached the zigzag path. It goes off down here. If there wasn't a path, you wouldn't think about crossing here. It's really quite steep. It is very steep. We've only got the one more up now. Tiny little slugs all over the ground. Today we're visiting monasteries on the Crete Peninsula, just outside of Hania. And we visited one, the first one, which has monks in it and lots of cats and lovely gardens. And now we've parked at one about 4 kilometres away, and we're walking down to the coast, down to some of the oldest monasteries, which I think are deserted.
The cave of St John, once the bed of an underground river, is over 100 metres long. This was the retreat of St John the Hermit, who lived off wild greens in the winter and carobs in the summer. Legend has it that near the end of his life he was no longer strong enough to walk upright due to his poor diet and the hardships of an ascetic lifestyle.
Look, it's dripping on the end of this. Look, this is how they form. All these little tiny drips.
One day, a hunter mistook St. John for an animal and fatally injured him with his arrows. The injured saint then returned to his cave and breathed his last lying on a rock, now known as St. John's Bed. The ruins of the Catholico Monastery date back to the 16th century, but in its place there was probably already an 11th century older monastery. The Catholico Monastery is therefore considered to be the oldest monastery in Crete.
Walking down the gorge now from the last monastery, which had the huge bridge across the gorge. So we're walking from there down to the sea. Look at this. So just out of the gorge we've come across what looks like a quarry. This must be where they've cut all the stone. It's very light, you can hear it too, it feels. It's very light and it's full of air, so I think it's volcanic ash, and they've cut the stone here to make all the different churches and buildings in the gorge. This is Elafonasu with Lafonasie Island in the background on the west coast of Crete. It's windy today with a southerly wind blowing in dust from the Sahara, but it's quite warm, it's about 18 degrees, and we're just walking along the beach and exploring. We're exploring a short section of the E4 on the west coast, and we're going through this magnificent cypress forest. This is a juniper tree. There are two types of juniper trees growing on Crete, and it's at this time of year, in March, February time, that they come into flower. And juniper trees are dioecious, which means the male and the female parts are on different trees. So for them to breed successfully, to cross-pollinate successfully, they have to grow in forests like this. So the flowers are here now, and then the seeds mature, the actual juniper berries mature until, well, it's the following year, in about the September of the following year. That's all according to the notice board here. And if you look just behind the notice board, there's a carob tree there. These are the carob seeds, carob pods, and they are used to make a type of chocolate. We're driving to one of the most beautiful beaches in Crete. It's called Ballast Beach, and it's on a peninsula of land that sticks out on the far northwest tip of the island.